invested so much and are going to continue doing industry-leading efforts to make sure that no one has to go through the types of things that your families have had to suffer.
You know, why, Mr. Zuckerberg, why should your company not be sued for this? Why is it that you can claim, you hide behind a liability shield, you can't be held accountable? Shouldn't you be held accountable personally? Will you take personal responsibility?
Senator, I think I've already answered this. I mean, these
well, try this again. Will you take personal responsibility?
Senator, I view my job and the job of our company as building the best tools that we can to keep our community safe.
Well, you're failing at that.
Well, Senator, we're doing an industry-leading effort. We build AI tools
nonsense. Your product is killing people. Will you personally commit to compensating the victims? You're a billionaire. Will you commit to compensating the victims? Will you set up a compensation fund
Senator,
with your money?
I think these are
with your money.
Senator, these are complicated issues.
No, that's not a complicated question, though. That's Senator, a yes or no. Will you set up a victims' compensation fund with your money, the money you made on these families sitting behind you? Yes or no?
Senator, I don't think that's my job is to
Sounds
make
like a no.
Good tools. My
Sounds
job
like a
is
no.
to make sure that
your job is to be responsible for what your company has done. You've made billions of dollars on the people sitting behind them. You here. You've done nothing to help them. You've done nothing to compensate them. You've done nothing to put it right. You could do so here today, and you should. You should, Mr. Zuckerberg. Before my time expires, Mr. Chu.
He goes on to somebody else. Here's my question: why should Zuckerberg apologize? I honestly, why are we bringing the CEO of Jack Daniels in for everybody who's ever been beaten by a drunk dad and been hit by, why don't we take a stadium full of people and have the CEO of General Motors apologize to everybody who's ever had a car accident or a loved one killed in that?
Why don't we haul Pfizer out in front? Why don't we haul General Mills and Kraft for all this crappy cereal they made?
Why don't they bring in the CEO of Smith & Wesson? If Hawley's a Republican, bring in Smith & Wesson. Let's apologize for all the people who've gotten killed.
That's why, as much as you want to side with Hawley on this, it's all kabuki theater. But it's all BS.
I can't even see how you. I honestly, to me, I don't know. Like, yes, sex trafficking is up. There are evildoers, we could say, people who have ill intent that are using these social platforms to maybe lure or encourage kids or whatever. Kids are communicating to each other. They're finding out about things probably at a younger age, faster. I mean, I jokingly always say, I used to have to earn to look at porn, right? Not anymore. I got it all right, and I can see the filthiest or the tamest or the whatever. So the question is, how do we protect? Every time we put, to me, maybe I'm wrong, but every time I feel like we rely on the government to take care of us, it doesn't work.
No.
And it's not the answer to this. And so to bring him out and make him up, and he stood up. And he faced these families, and they're holding signs of pictures, and he apologized, and he's the only one. And he was the only one that was really taken to task. Like, I didn't listen to the rest of them, so maybe I'm wrong. I heard that 5 minutes goes on, and he does talk to the head of TikTok saying, you're a communist party, and why are we even allowing you in this country, and blah, blah. I'm not saying Hawley brings up points, but I'm like, if you're going to do that, a table saw. It can make a really nice piece of furniture, or it can cut off your hand if you don't know what you're doing with it. And I think the same thing here. So what is the answer? How do you protect kids? Well, it goes back to the parent. And the only thing that you can do in my eyes, and maybe I'm wrong, I would love to hear other people's thoughts. We read a lot of text at the beginning of the show at 585-206-8866. You've got to build your kid's self-esteem. When your kid believes in themselves enough that they don't want to be attracted to this, or they realize that's not something I need to make me feel good. I don't need to go over here and look at this or be part of this or be lured away by this guy. It's building your kid's self-esteem. Easier said than done? Well, yes, absolutely. Think of anybody. But anybody that has low self-esteem, we see it in adults. What do? They try to get attention. They're a lot of passive-aggressive stuff. They're difficult to deal with at times. Right? Low self-esteem.
Yeah.
If you've got somebody, you find something that your kid's great at, feed that passion. Take them away, but build up their self-esteem. And I think that protects them from a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I think it protects them throughout life. I think it protects them from shitty bosses. I think they can go, hey, I'm good at my job. I'm going to go find another job where I'm not treated this way. Right. And I think that's the bigger thing. But nobody wants to talk about that. But we'll have Senator Hawley stand up there and, scream at Zuckerberg. And I go, I get it. You're trying to do it for your constituents who have had people commit suicide because they've been so badly bullied. But I don't know that. I mean, and I guess you could say, well, Zuckerberg, you're the guy that designed a platform to rape women, which could be considered bullying. Right? Mm-hmm. So maybe there's a point there. But I go, what about these others? I mean, bring in the CEO of everything. We could make an argument
I've always argued you could protest everything.
Yeah,
anything. You could protest faith. You could protest anything.
I mean, cars, people. Look, horrible things happen.
You can find a way to protest anything.
and
get angry. Now, I understand where Hawley is coming from, but I also know that Hawley, let's put it this way, Republicans, Democrats, both, they pander to their audience.
By the way, I'm not picking on Republican.
No, I know.
That's the only audio that was really out there. And this was bipartisan. There were Democrats just as...
Yes.
They're all trying... Because, look, you don't want children to be harmed, and you can't be with your kids 24/7. That's why I'm saying try to build your kids' self-esteem so when someone says something about them that hurts their feelings, you can build it up. Yeah, but you're great at this. Who cares what they say?
Right.
But, I mean,
the problem is that there aren't a lot of smart parents that think that way.
Well, let's get them to start thinking that way.
I would love that.
Well, let's get them to start. I mean, that's why I'm saying
we got to parent parents now.
Yes.
We got to teach parents how to parent.
Okay, but
and I say this is a guy without children too.
Yeah.
It's like
tell Danny shut up, asshole. No idea.
He has no idea.
No, but you have nieces and nephews and things.
I do.
That's not my point. And you were a kid.
Yes.
You can think yourself.
I remember it. It sucked.
You probably got picked on and bullied.
Oh yeah.
I did. I didn't mind it. I got picked on and bullied too, but I bullied back. I didn't care.
You kind of had an understanding on how to do it. But my mother. See, here's the thing. My mother would say, ignore them.
Yeah.
But when you're a kid, you don't understand how that works.
No, but that's what I'm saying. So instead of ignore them, maybe the better thing to say is, but Danny, everybody loves you. You're great at this, whatever that was. Mm-hmm. You're a great leader. Do you realize how many kids you know why they're upset with you, Danny? Because they don't have your grades. What does that make you feel inside? Great. Better about yourself. And it's hard.
But I was giving that speech to him like, Dad, you don't understand, man. I can't throw a baseball. Like I was always the guy who wanted to be the athlete. I didn't want to be the smart kid. I was the smart kid.
Yeah.
But that wasn't cool. But what was cool was being able to hit home runs.
Yeah.
And throw a baseball and be a great athlete. You know what I'm saying? And there were some kids who could do both.
Yeah.
And since I couldn't do the other one as well, even though I wanted to so badly. Did you get picked on
when it like
oh yeah, I was small and stuff.
Yesterday, Danny talked very openly. You've been very open on the podcast about not being able to lose weight.
Yes.
You say you've done...
I think I figured out why.
You say you've done everything.
Yes.
And then you told us your workout. How you do 2 minutes and then you sprint.
Yes.
And then you do 2 minutes or something, or maybe you sprint for 2 minutes.
Yeah, I'll do 2 minutes of just a light jog basically on an elliptical.
Yeah.
And then I'll do a 30-second all-out sprint.
I want to see...
I told Beth that today. That she's like, what? Really? Why would you want to watch that?
Because I want to make fun of you.
I know.
Just like the kids in baseball.
But here's the thing. We can do that now. We're adults.
Well, yes.
I'm secure.
Yes.
You're secure. Kids aren't secure.
Well...
Like the one kid... I remember reading a story about a year ago about a young kid who exposed himself to a girl on Snapchat. She took the photo and freeze framed it or whatever, sent it out to people. He couldn't process it fast enough that he was getting and he went and killed himself.
Okay, I understand. And that's exactly why they're dragging him.
This is what Hawley is talking about.
I know, but my point is it the fault of the creator or is it the fault of the user?
Or if the world is designed by geniuses to be run by idiots, then you need to somehow try to idiot-proof the circumstances. Even though you can't really blame them, they got to figure out ways to think ahead. I think that's what Hawley's trying to say.
Well, he said, Senator, we're doing this, but he's saying to him, you need to apologize, you need to compensate these families, you need to do this.
That's where he's grandstanding.
Whoa. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, and it may sound cold, but the example you just used of the young man who sent the picture. Well, somewhere along the line, we need to. Yes, parenting is not easy. It's the hardest job there is. I was terrible at it, but I don't know that I had great examples either. I don't know that they had great examples. Everybody did the best they could.
Right.
I believe that. I do believe that.
Children don't come with a manual, Billy.
But I would say, okay, parenting's harder now because you don't know who your kid's talking to when they're in their bedroom.
No.
It used to be you would go to your bedroom and that, like I will jokingly
Why
say,
is that door closed?
we'll never see a great guitarist again.
Yeah.
Because they would sit in the room and do that. Now they're sitting in the room and sending dick pics out.
Dude, I can't even.
You know what I'm saying?
It's hard to even find a great rock song anymore.
All right, but that aside,
Yeah.
my point being, like, I don't know that you can necessarily hold Snapchat responsible for the death of the kid as much as we can go, hold on a second. I mean, if it was
I understand
Polaroid,
that. I understand that.
would we do it with Polaroid? And that's what these guys are doing. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be some kind of safeguard. We should look at it, but there's got to be some personal responsibility here because we're not doing it with Jack Daniels. You know what I mean?
No, I understand. Yeah. I mean, like there's 13-year-old kids. I mean, okay, I know kids. When I went to school,
yeah,
right? 4 different kids, drunk driving deaths, all were under 21.
Yeah, I got that.
All were under 21.
Yeah, I have that too.
So, I mean, yeah, I get that. Like what Holly's doing is grandstanding. Both sides do it. I understand what he's trying to do.
And please,
Zuckerberg, on the other hand, and all these guys, they're like Henry Hill in Goodfellas when he was a kid. So every now and then I had to take a beating.
Yeah.
So that was his beating yesterday. It was all theater. He's going to grease some palms, and then we're going to be back here in 2 years talking about something else. The technocracy in this country runs the show.
But I also think on the other side, it does bring attention to something that is an ongoing problem. I just don't know that we can solve it through regulation as much as we may be able to solve it through societal ways.
Yeah, how about being a parent?
Well, being a parent or just being nicer to each other, right? Setting a better example, trying to be kinder, being less loving. Don't let your kids listen to this podcast, that kind of thing.
Here's a question.
We call Danny fat.
Let me ask you, how old were Jackson, Jordan, and Jameson when they got a cell phone? And why? And I'm not making
everybody had to be 13, but Jameson would steal everybody's phone, so I think we gave him one when he was 9, and the older boys were so pissed because they had to be 12 or 13. Part of the reason was
they boycott. Did they protest you as parents?
No, they didn't. But they were so. I remember Jordan being like, "This is so unfair. How come?" But I think it was like by that point, you were having friends and doing things. So it was easier to get a hold of you. Mm-hmm. And it was a cell phone where you couldn't really access much, but you were on there. But the other guys got whatever the smartphone was. I think there was smartphones when they were like 13. So yeah. So that for Jackson it would have been 2013. Did we have smartphones then? I don't remember.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
we did have smartphones.
So Jackson was 2013, and then Jordan would have been the year after or the year and a half after. So
I remember you and I both had flip phones until like 2010, 2011.
Yeah. So yes, they did, and and they had it more because if there was after school activities or they wanted to go to a buddy's house, they could call.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Or we could call them. Hey, where are you? You should have been here.
I mean, you got to have the ability to put parameters on.
Yes, you can. You can put parental guidelines on all. Yeah.
I don't think. Software. I just blown away by why most parents don't.
I don't know that most don't. I don't know. I don't
know. I'm not in that world.
I don't know. There are some parents go so far as to put like Life 360, where you can see where the kid is at all times, and follow them basically through GPS satellite, and you'll know right where they are. And if you have a teenager that's driving, it'll tell you how fast the car is going and all that stuff. And I think it just gives you a chance. Look, as my dad used to say to me, I'm not here to ruin your good time. My job is to keep you alive. So there's some of that. I remember Jordan being really, really upset because there was a girl he liked, and so some kid starts asking him about the girl, and he's filming him at the same time, and he's going, "What's her name?" And he tells. So Jordan says it, and so that kid films it, puts it up on Snapchat, so it's out to the entire school. Where that would be, one or two guys would, I don't know, a handful of people would have found out versus anybody. It's just a larger audience. Is that Snapchat's fault? I don't know. Is it the technology that's available at the time? Yeah. So how do you parent that?
I don't know.
Hey, that girl should be flattered. She's so lucky that, she must be a great girl if you like her. I mean, I remember saying this to you. This is a girl you like. It must be that. that kid's just jealous. That's what guys do. We're just kind of playing. Don't worry about it. Move on. Hey, let's think about your baseball game that's coming or whatever, right? And try to do it that way. That was just the way.
Most parents don't have that outlook. Most parents nowadays are worried about themselves first and foremost. Because
if they're on, if you're on OnlyFans, like the earlier story, that was it.
We're all distracted, and I can't tell anybody how to parent because we're all distracted.
Shouldn't. I wouldn't tell anybody. I would not tell anybody how to parent. I guess I am when I'm saying I think in my opinion, the best way to combat what the Senator Hawley and other senators on both sides of the aisle are saying is not to put regulations in, or maybe put some regulations in, help parents do stuff, but also the biggest thing that you're going to do that's going to help your kid is build their self-esteem.
Yeah.
Make them strong enough, not cocky, but secure enough in themselves that they know right from wrong. They know they don't need to go over there and do that to feel good. They can feel good in and of themselves just for breathing. Right. I mean, that's really the ultimate goal. That's going to fix everything.
Do you have Paramount Plus at all?
No.
So South Park has now put episodes that you could only watch on Paramount Plus.
Okay.
And South Park's always been ahead of the curve as far as current events and societal norms. And they did an episode where, those Prime drinks, that everybody's drinking, or these kids are drinking. Well, they made fun of the Prime drink, and basically they called it cred. In other words, you got to get your cred. You got to make sure you have your cred, right? And it's a code for, you got to be cool. And how these kids are being influenced. And Cartman's got all this cred, and other kids have these cred. And this one kid's parents won't let him have cred, so he's got to go and buy it in a back alley because he wants to be cool with all the other kids.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Stan's father, is doing nude videos on OnlyFans with his junk hanging out. Right? And the point of the whole episode is that, it's we can't fight this anymore because the technocrats, like Zuckerberg, are going to hold this stuff up in court, but they are targeting kids. And I think that's Hawley's point, is that you could say you're targeting adults, it's not for kids, but it really is always going to get to the kids. And they're going to hold this up in court because they have the money, and it's never going to get resolved. And we're all screwed.
But my question is, how is it targeting kids necessarily? I don't know if I don't know that I understand the argument there fully, because I think everybody's on social media now. My mom's on social media.
The influencers.
Well, the
target
influencers.
The kids.
Yes, but Jesus Christ, that's been advertising since the beginning of time.
I understand
Magic
that,
Johnson was Converse sneakers.
Oh yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I had Converse. My dad would always say to me, leather sneakers are the best. I always had Converse sneakers as a kid. The other kids were jealous. They wanted them too. I think it's the same thing. I'm not sure that I don't know. The targeting thing is what I try to build that argument. I'm not saying that. I think kids are always going to try to find a way to do something that they know they probably shouldn't do. Right?
Right.
I mean, I certainly did. So if Snapchat has the vanish mode, is that bad? Because I'll guarantee you this. I guarantee there's adults that use Snapchat because there's vanish mode and no one can see who they're chatting with.
Right.
Right? I mean, so what? So now you want to blame the fact that, your wife had an affair because you've been a complete fucking asshole? Come home and leave me alone, bitch.
Where's my dinner?
Leave me alone. I don't really talk to you. She found somebody else and she's talking to him through vanish mode. Well, that's not Snapchat's fault. That's your fault. And that's my thing, is I don't like the lack of personal responsibility in anything anymore, because that's it. And I'm not a gun guy, but hey, you know what? The gun guys I know, they went through all the fucking shit to get the paperwork and be responsible gun owners and lock them up. They're not the ones causing the problems.
Right.
So, right?
Okay.
So this is kind of my argument. Where's the personal responsibility in this stuff? And when I saw the Zuckerberg thing, I go, this one's way more universal.
Yeah.
Because everybody uses. I would say conservatively 85% of the population has some sort of social media account. I mean, my 79-year-old father has them. So that's what I'm using as my barometer. I think everybody does in some way. And yes, kids are going to be way more influenced. We try to do it. They've done it since the beginning of time.
Oh, yeah.
Soft drinks have tried to get you young. And they yes.
Cereal.
Yes. So let's go after the soft drink for causing diabetes.
Well, I agree. Yeah, I think you and I are on the same page on this.
No, we are.
I mean, like, for crying out loud, we were force-fed dessert for breakfast growing up.
Wow.
And now those
I wasn't,
incidents,
because my mother wouldn't let us have anything but puff fucking rice.
and it still wasn't healthy for you.
Well,
At the end of the day, you got more kids in their 30s getting colon and stomach cancer than ever before.
Nowadays, you're right. There was a big thing on Good Morning America this morning. I just happened to catch the headline, and then I flipped over to ESPN at 8 o'clock, but it was... that's my day now.
Well, I knew 2 women who died of colon cancer before they reached 40.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they should.
And they went to their doctor and they said,
stayed off all the fans.
they go, I have a freaking issue in my stomach. Oh, you're too young to get colon cancer.
Yeah, this is they're seeing a rise in that in younger people, and I don't know why. And I would think that it has something to do with diet.
Look at our diet. We were given like fruit roll-ups. Anything that came out of the aisles.
Yeah.
We were force-fed for years. Our parents didn't know any better.
All right, we'll take a
Sorry.
moment.
Remember Shaq with the big gulp Pepsi?
Yeah.
You want to be cool, kids? Drink Pepsi.
What value would you put on an egg salad sandwich? What's the value of an egg salad sandwich?
$4.99.
$4.99.
At Panera, half the sandwich, twice the price.
Oh, I had Panera for lunch the other day.
Did you have a full sandwich or a half sandwich?
No, I got half sandwich and a tomato soup.
For what, $80?
I don't even know.
That's always been my motto with Panera. Half the sandwich, twice the price.
I don't know.
But it's okay to crave because it's all natural.
It might have been 10 or 12.
That's still ridiculous for a bowl of soup and a half a sandwich.
Is it?
Yes. Remember that commercial with that guy from Progressive, the dad? The guy's like, too many homeowners are like, too many of their homeowners are like their parents. Yeah, I'll be paying for my own salad.
Well, I had
1995.
I had a meeting with somebody, and so I bought their lunch too. So I think it was like 20 something, maybe 30.
Okay.
I don't even know.
But the value of an egg salad sandwich, I'd say maybe it's $4.99.
Well, we'll tell you. Somebody paid a higher price. We'll get to that next. But first, I don't know if we were